Thank you, Christine. Now I will be going over what you should know when it comes to currency and exchange of payment for goods and services in travel or business transactions with a Romanian company. Romanian's currency is lei, however the newer version is RON. Foreign currencies may be exchanged at banks or authorized exchange offices. International airports and larger hotels also offer currency exchange services. Business partners can establish any desired payment conditions by mutual agreement and make use of all standard international conditions. The use of letters of credit, bank guarantees, and bank deposits is highly advisable, in particular with initial deliveries and new customers. In all business relations, but particularly for the delivery of goods and rendering of services on open terms, a credit check prior to the conclusion of a business transaction is recommended. Bills of exchange are the most common means of payment, especially for domestic transactions. Checks are also widespread and convey a strong title to the creditor, since non-performance is sanctioned. The following are some different ways that you can make purchases for goods and services while traveling in Romania. You can get a limited amount of money out of an ATM. ATMs are available at main banks and airports and shopping centers. Do not expect to find ATMs in remote areas or villages. You can use your credit card wherever that they are accepted. Major credit cards, including American Express, MasterCard, and Visa, are accepted in large hotels, car rental companies, and stores in the main cities. However, credit cards are unlikely to prove useful in small towns or away from the tourist areas. You can also bring traveler's checks with you, preferably in US dollars or euros. Traveler's checks can be cashed in large banks, some hotels, and selected exchange offices, but most of them charge considerable commissions. Do not count on cashing such checks outside Bucharest and a few other major cities. For travel around the country, it is a good idea to carry cash. Small stores and restaurants might accept US dollars in small denominations of $1, $5, $10, and $20, but the exchange rate offered will not be the best. Street handicraft vendors prefer Romanian currency. Now I will go over what you need to know about food, entertainment, and recreations that are common in Romania. Romanian traditional foods are as follows. Romanian traditional foods heavily feature meat. Cabbage rolls, sausages, and stews are popular main dishes. You can also sample traditional Romanian fish dishes like salty grilled carp called saramora. Soups made with or without meat or made with fish are usually offered on menus at Romanian restaurants. Traditional Romanian desserts are crepes with various fillings and toppings. Other pastries may be best described as danishes. They're pastries with cheese filling. When you're in Romania, do expect to be served food even if you decline the offer. Refusals are often seen as being polite and not always taken seriously. So if you really don't want the food, you must be firm. Don't eat until the host says pofta bună, which means good appetite. Don't put your napkin on your lap. Leave it on the table. Do use bread to soak up sauce or gravy. Do indicate that you are still eating by crossing your fork and knife on your plate. Do indicate that you are finished eating by placing your knife and fork across your plate with the handles facing to the right and the prongs facing downwards. There are several different types of entertainment and recreation in Romania. Bucharest has a growing number of nightclubs with entertainment and live dancing. Restaurants at most major hotels double as nightclubs, and there are also several Parisian-style cafes. There are many buildings and monasteries that have wonderful sightseeing opportunities, as well as interesting archaeological sites, including the ancient Greek city ruins of Historia. Romania's mountainous, unspoiled countryside is ideal for active tourists who enjoy hiking, cycling, and horseback riding. There are hundreds of national parks, wildlife lovers enjoy excursions to the Danube River Delta, a tract of relatively new land formed only 13,000 years ago. Now here's Heather with the conclusion.
Thank you, Jamie. As I conclude our presentation, I would like to reiterate the key factors to having successful business with Romania. As Billy discussed at the beginning of our presentation, business between Romania and the United States continues to rise. Millions of dollars are being traded within the two countries, most goods coming into the United States. As we see from the table, imports brought in $99 million in January of 2009, while exports reached nearly $80 million. Trade with Romania ended the year with over $700 million in imports alone. Common United States imports include automotive tires and tubes, apparel and household goods from cotton, engines for civilian aircraft, as well as fertilizers and pesticides. And the goods being exported to Romania include coal and fuel, telecommunications equipment, drilling and oil field equipment, and computer accessories. Some of the fastest growing products being imported into the United States include photochemicals, printer inks and paint, sewing and leatherworking machinery. Due to the image barrier, it may be helpful to have an interpreter available. This should only be done, however, after asking in order to avoid offending them. Along the same lines, it can be useful to have any business materials translated into Romanian. This can be true with business cards as well, one said in English and the other in Romanian. Taking these steps can avoid any confusion and are appreciated on both ends. While it is expected to be offered food during a business meeting, one should be aware that it could be considered rude to turn it down, so much so that Romanians won't take you seriously and still serve you. Educating yourself on etiquette during meals is important, as certain actions we may be used to are significantly different in Romania. Without prior knowledge on protocol, one could easily indicate the wrong message. This would only lead to confusion and embarrassment. When preparing for a business meeting in Romania, awareness to nonverbal messages is key. Following suggested interview tips is highly recommended, as they tend to correlate and can make all the difference. Some examples are showing up to a meeting on time, maintaining good eye contact, and exchanging handshakes. These nonverbal messages represent politeness and professionalism. To present yourself in such a way to the Romanians will confirm your respect towards them, encouraging a relationship to be built. Dressing conservatively is another way we've learned to respect the Romanian culture. Taking the attire seriously can make a big difference, as you're representing your business and country. Outside of the office, being aware of the driving situation will better assist you in your travels. We learned earlier that the driving conditions are a little risky, as roads are not well kept and the drivers can be wild. Taking the suggested travel options is ideal, especially for those who are not familiar with the area. When it comes to business transactions and/or personal purchases while on a business trip, it's important to be aware of which tender is accepted in the areas in which you will be visiting. To better prepare oneself, this should take research prior to the actual trip. And as Jamie mentioned, not every city accepts all tenders, so depending on the payment condition agreed upon, there may be necessary steps to be taken prior to the trip. Traveling with a few different tenders is suggested. Bills of exchange are most common, especially for domestic transactions. Most credit cards are accepted in the larger cities and tourist areas, but that changes as you move away from the big cities and tourist areas. Coming prepared with letters of credit, bank guarantees, and bank deposits is highly advisable. It's worthwhile to perform credit checks in advance to reduce the chance of delay. As relationships are what drive this country, it is important for those in business with them to build their trust. Romanians are known for their hospitality and taking their time to create a bond, regardless of how long it may take. This is why it is important to allow plenty of time, as well as the possibility of several trips when planning business meetings. They may be slow to progress on the business end of things as they work to develop a personal relationship, building trust. Part of their relationship building process is getting to know you and your family, and not until then will the business side of things truly begin. We have just learned that patience is necessary, whether it's in the number of meetings held or delivering information in such a way that takes additional time. Romanians expect your patience.